contractor report for the project. The town of Hot Springs is installing a new 200,000 gallon water storage tank, providing additional water and fire service. The project includes the installation of a 12-inch water transmission main, 8-inch distribution main, 2 fire hydrants, 200,000 gallon fused steel tank. Upgrades to the water system include SCADA controls. What SCADA is a technical term, but those are the controls that tell the wells when to turn on and off when the water tanks get full. And surface restoration of the roads. The improvements will extend the fire suppression service to areas on the south side of Highway 77 near the school and increase the water system storage capacity to meet requirements of Montana DEQ. This project was developed based on extensive studies and cost comparisons described in a 2012 Water System Preliminary Engineering Report. The PER considered other alternatives which were discussed during 2 public hearings. A copy of the PER is of course available at Town Hall. And there's the budget underneath. TSEP, which is Treasure State Endowment, $592,550. CDBG is $450,000. TSEP requires a match in the form of either cash or a loan. So we did do an intercap loan of $142,550 for a total project of $1,185,100. During the month of December, LHC, who is the primary contractor, and their subcontractors have worked to substantially complete the water system improvements, consisting of the new glass fused steel water storage tank, water transmission main, and upgraded system controls. The contractor and the subcontractors have worked to complete assembly of the incidental components of the water storage tank, such as cathodic protection and overflow assembly. Bacteria testing of the 12-inch transmission main was completed by LHC, and leakage and bacteria testing of the storage tank was completed by Shear and Associates. Substantial completion was requested and granted on December 17, 2015. A project punch list has been developed and provided to the contractor for completion. Punch list in the contractor world is stuff they didn't get done yet. Tasks which are achievable during the winter conditions will be completed immediately. Items such as additional gravel placement at the tank area and touch-up for landscaping will be completed as weather permits in the spring of 2016. The notice to proceed was issued on August 10th with the contract and substantial completion on December 2017. The project duration was to be 70 days. They went over by 83 days. The total contract amount to the contractor was $882,431.92. The contractor has made 4 applications for payment, totaling $775,336.85. At this time of this final report, there is a final application for payment from LHC, and they have not received it because we have not approved it. This is the outside of the glass line tank. There's a control system. Some of the things we've done in these tanks, that's our control system for the tank, the SCADA. It's sending a signal down to our well house telling how deep the water is and what's going on in the tank. Some of the other controls in there, one of the things we added in both of our tanks, and I don't know if that picture is going to be good enough there. This picture here is actually of the mixer system. Inside these tanks we actually have mixers in the old tank and in the new tank, and they're making the water slowly turn all the time. Standing there looking down at the top of the tank, if no water's coming in or no water's going out, you can't really even see the water move. The idea with this is because now we are at 400,000 gallon storage, is you can get water just sitting in those tanks and getting stagnant. So we're continuously mixing the water. The other problem is this time of year, because we have the larger storage, is that water sits in there and has a chance to freeze, causing icing, which can cause other problems and damaging the tank. So keeping that water just slowly moving, you don't get the icing as at all. This here, oops. This picture here is systemic cathodic protection. It's an anoid. What it does is instead of causing rusting to the tank, the electricity goes to the anoid, it depletes the anoid, and it protects the tank from rusting and corrosion. Is what it does. So those are all the pictures we have of the project. So what we need to discuss tonight, we need to look at a few things. The council has received some other things. On the punch list, one of the things on the punch list is the overflow pipe. The overflow pipe came way late in the project. It should have came with the tank, it did not. I don't have a picture of it on my screen here. The overflow pipe's on the outside of the new water tank. It came in the end of November, 1st of December is when it arrived on the project. Probably 3 weeks prior to its arrival, I was told that the company who built the overflow pipe, it had to have a flange welded on, had to have some other stuff welded to it. The company who built that would prime the pipe, they would not paint it to our color. At that time, I was told by the contractor and the subcontractor it would be coming primed. We need to figure out how to paint it. At that time, I volunteered the town shop. I said, no problem, it's heated. We can take the pipe in there. We can leave it overnight. We can wipe it down. We can paint it. It can stand there for a couple days till the paint dries. Then we can take it up to the site and Shear and Associates, the subcontractor, can install it on the tank. The pipe showed up, it was taken to the site, Shear and Associates installed it on the tank. It is not painted. Here is problem number one. Shear and Associates and their contract, the main contractor, LHC, are having some problems between themselves. We are not a part of that. And we need to stay as isolated from that as possible. There's probably going to be litigation between LHC, the primary contractor, and Shear, the subcontractor. Shear claims they're not responsible for painting the pipe. LHC claims they are responsible. Shear and Associates has sent us a letter. We are in the receipt of the December 18, 2015 letter to notify Shear and Associates of subcontract default. This issue noted in this letter is the painting of the overflow piping and complete the punch list per their scope. As per phone conversation on December 24th, and I should say this letter is between LHC and Shear and Associates. We were just copied onto it. We will not agree on this and other items specifically included and excluding the scope of work. Once again, for the good of the project owner, to avoid further controversies, litigation, and expenses, Shear is willing to paint the overflow pipe upon return for their annual inspection next September or October. This would ensure quality of the painting within the required weather limitations, reduce mobilization and legal costs. For our phone conversation, our recommendation would be for the owner to remove LHC Incorporated from its obligation of the overflow pipe painting, and Shear would be directly responsible to the city for this single task. Willingness to complete this task is not to be construed as omission, negligence, willful misconduct, breach of contract, acceptance for fault. In addition, liquidation damages are not to be assessed due to the delay for any reason. So as what Shear and Associates is asking the town to do is remove LHC as the primary contractor and responsibility for painting the overflow pipe. And they will come back in probably October of next year to paint it. My concern with this is, one, our contract is with LHC. LHC needs to have the contract completely. If we decide to go with Shear and Associates and allow them to paint it, will next October, will the weather be appropriate to do that? I've talked to Shear and Associates. Actually, They have called me since then. Rod Shear, the owner, has called me just a couple days ago. And depending on what the town want to do, if we told them they need to come back in May or March or April or whatever and paint it sooner, they would. At the same time, LHC feels they have an obligation to take care of the water project. Their crew was down the other day and looked at it. They talked to the telephone company to go with their boom truck. They looked at it, pulling the pipe down, taking it, getting it painted, and having that fixed right away for us. Like I said, I'd like to assert our contract is with LHC. We have no contract, no binding, nothing with Shear Associates. That's a subcontractor of LHC's. We have nothing to do with that. Like I said, them and LHC are having some problems between each other. One of my concerns is if we tell LHC, well, you don't have to do it, then will they come back and say, well, do we have to do this? Why did you not make us do this, but you're making us do this? So right now that's where we stand on that. That's one of the questions to the council. How do you want me to proceed on that?
What would it cost, to do it?
Telephone company charges $60 an hour for the boom truck. We're probably looking at 2 hours of boom truck. We're talking 2 guys to pull the 8 or 10 bolts and then pull the slip coupler at the bottom, drop it, take it wherever they're gonna paint it. I mean, it's gonna end up being, and the trouble with the project is because of the monies we received, we're paying Davis-Bacon plus per diem travel, and because it's out of area, the guys that come down the other day were making just under $50 an hour to come do a color match swatch on the paint. So, that's, that's all being kind of aided by LHC. I mean, that's in that contract. It's not costing us anything. Part of it is we just need to be done with it. I feel the town just needs to be done. We just need to be done and not have something holding out there down the road day after day after day, and then making a separate contract with a whole other company to come back and paint that. So I guess my big heartburn on the whole thing is we knew weeks ahead of time it was coming primed. I offered them a solution. Shear and Associates was on site waiting for material. They were actually just hanging out in a hotel. They could have got that pipe, they could have painted it in the city shop, we could have let it sit there, they could have put it up, it could have been done. It would have cost them a few dollars for paint. They were already staying here, they were already on the clock, they were already hanging out in a hotel room waiting for parts.
But LHC put it up.
But they went ahead and put it up because they felt LHC should paint it, and LHC says they should paint it. The whole thing could have been solved with $100 worth of paint while they were sitting around. So that's my problem with this problem, is it could have just been done and we couldn't even be here talking about it, but they really got, at the end of the project, those 2 companies really got into a real push-a match between each other. So there's around them. The other thing I mentioned is that they went over by 13 days. Okay. As per contract, they're charged $500 a day for going over. LHC has asked us to waive that they feel it makes the project manager said it looks bad on him and the company if we charge him that. So they asked us to waive it. That was the conversation at the meeting. Some of the things that we're going to need to remember is because of the overage on the days, we were charged by the engineering firm another $5,300 to our contract with the engineer because of the extra days. Also, as you see on amendment number 2, this will be the next one we're talking about. It's amendment number 2 to owner engineer agreement. We had a separate agreement with the engineering firm. And what that is 2 things. The engineer performed additional services. The engineer shall observe construction activities on the contractors under the stop work order. Is what happened when we issued a stop work order because of the foundation problem at the tank. Right. We issued a stop work order at that time because it was their mess. the town, I didn't feel the town was responsible to be paying for engineers and all that. That was between LHC and their subcontractor. The town was not responsible for that. So during that stop work order, the engineering firm representing us had to be there and observe all the work. And they charged extra for that. Under the contract, we were responsible to pay them. We withhold it from LHC's final payment, is how this is gonna work. And that number was $5,022.53. And then, like I said, the additional services then for $5,300 to the engineer was for those extra 13 days that was during our work order, but over the 70-day contract limit. Which, back to, we will withhold that from LHC's final payment to cover us. So that's our second thing we need to talk about.
How much do we, still owe to pay off the contract, the whole thing?
That's too small. I'm getting old. I didn't say it out loud.
And bigger like glass?
Yeah, I should bring my binoculars. We have paid, contract amount. That number's not in there.
Looks like about 90,000.
Yeah, we sold them about $90,000. There's the final payout. And then there's some other withholdings there too, but some of the things also under this that we did do that it doesn't show in this paperwork, I thought they'd put that in there. We went through and double checked all the, what they did is they billed us, one of the things the contract reads in these contracts is all the materials that come on site we have to pay for immediately.
Right.
So when those semis started rolling in, we had to pay LHC immediately for those. And that's what we did, was we checked inventory. We checked what they bought, and we checked what was used. Then whatever wasn't used, then we've subtracted that from the contract also. Since the engineer was there the whole time, he knew that they used 4 of those valves, but they bought 6. He knew that they, so we have subtracted those from that final payment also. I thought that would get in that deal, but more summarily, through their secretariat, their loan part of that is where they double check all that. Another part of their office runs all those numbers and makes sure when we submit for payment that those are correct and those deductions are withheld from payment, so.
So you said LHC was willing to come and take the overflow pipe off and paint it themselves to close the deal?
Yes,
Well, our contract's with them, so why not go that way?
and that would be my, and the engineering firm, I asked for their opinion too, because they work with this type of stuff all the time. That's their feelings on it too. LHC is the contractor, it's their responsibility to make the project right. If one of their subs doesn't follow through, it's not,
Yep.
it's nothing to do with us. Our contract is with LHC, so.
And so this additional money that we're gonna have to pay for the engineer, we'll get it back from the LHC?
We will not pay them that.
We will not pay them
Right,
that,
well,
they'll go
come-
after LHC.
LHC and Shear, whatever they do between themselves is none of our business yet. So these dollar amounts that we have, like on amendment number 2, the total comes to $10,322. That will be withheld from final payment to LHC.
But
So
paid,
there's-
but paid to the engineering firm.
Paid to the engineer.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's still the question of the penalty.
Right, the loss of days penalty was $500 a day. There's, one of the things we looked at that and, is they were over the days due to, I felt, just lack of planning, lack of management on site. It wasn't anything to do with weather, the town, or anything else. They just had some real problems. The only thing I would ask is we need to review, I don't think we should charge them those days for weekends. They wouldn't work those weekends anyways. We should only charge the 500-day loss for work days, which would be Monday through Friday. for those weeks, which only took like 2 or 3, 4 days out, I don't remember what it was. But, I mean, that's the only fair thing to do, is the total number was every day, but they wouldn't have been working weekends anyway, so we should take those off. But I think we should stick with the 500 a day for weekdays, because it wasn't because we have below zero weather and the wind blowing and snowing and all that. It was for other reasons. Very poor planning, very poor planning. They sat here for a week waiting for a nut to put that cathodic protection together.
Well,
And wouldn't paint the pipe. I mean, those are some of those things I'm saying, I don't think we should cut them much slack on this. I mean, it was, waiting for an 1.25 inch nut for a week is kind of,
couldn't they go to Gamble's?
I mentioned to him that maybe you should just drive to Missoula. It was an 1.25 inch stainless nut, but I mean, yeah, they could have drove to Spokane and got it quicker. I mean, because the cost to their company is huge. I mean, these guys are living in a hotel, they're living, you know, and getting paid all those per diems and everything. It's like I said, it's just huge expenses over a $5 nut.
Yeah.
So I think we should stick with that, but
How many days, how many weekend days out of that 13?
I don't have that in front of me, because I thought that was in this packet here, and it's not. I'd have to double check that. It shows 13 days there, and I thought it was more than
You
that.
can't have it 4 at the most.
Right, and I
Can't be more
was,
than 4.
right, and
Right, so
I'm,
we're still looking at about
If
$4,500.
even, I mean.
no, I'm thinking 13 days is the number. I think they
Oh,
already took
yeah.
weekends out.
They're already out.
I think they already took the weekends out, because I told them that when Morris and Merrily was putting this together, I told them I didn't feel that was fair to charge weekend days, because they wouldn't have been working it anyways. We should charge them the weekdays those worked. And I, because I thought it was a bigger number than 13, so he must have already taken the weekends out.
Although, in the contract, it said 75 days, 70 days.
70 days.
And that includes weekends. Does it not?
No, it didn't.
It didn't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd have to double check that.
Yeah, they'd have to look at start day and finish day and see what's in between.
Well, but we had a stop work order in there is the trouble.
Well,
Right.
Because the start date, I thought was on there, or it's in I read that at some point during this.
Yeah,
Start date was
you did.
August,
August 10th,
10th.
2015.
yep.